Honorable Speaker. Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll try and be very brief. Honorable Speaker, I think this bill is fundamentally flawed. And as a matter of fact, I would strongly urge it be withdrawn and the contents be seriously considered. Why am I saying so? Drawing from my experience as the person who drafted the National Environmental Management Authority Act, I think when you're dealing with different sectoral statutes, what you are concerned about is how do you effectively coordinate. And if you look at Section 3 of this bill, it talks about effectively coordinating the performance and the functions of the competent authorities. But these cut across various ministries and they cut across various statutes. There is nothing in this bill that will enable the so-called controller of food safety to do that coordination effectively. There's absolutely nothing. And if you go to the first schedule, even competent authorities, ministries are included, number 1, 2, 3. Those are not competent authorities for purposes of coordinating the implementation of food safety. They should be the other institutions that you see there. The comptroller cannot coordinate as cabinet secretary. The comptroller cannot coordinate another body which is established by a statute of equal rank. So on that alone, it is fundamentally flawed. I did deal with this issue extensively when I wrote the MCA Act, and what I've seen here is something that will not work. But now let me go to the specifics. I would like to propose that the government side considers establishing what is called a National Food Safety Authority. That is what we need in the Republic of Kenya, instead of the Office of Food Safety Controller. And there are enough precedents across the world. And that particular National Food Safety Authority will have the following responsibilities: being the repository of all food and water standards. In other words, it will formulate and enforce all national food standards. And I'm glad the majority leader has just walked in. Secondly, that authority should be in charge of certification and registration of all competent specialists under those competent authorities.
Majority leader, what is out of order?
There's nothing out of order, Honorable Speaker. Maybe just as a point of information to the Honorable Karoli Omondi.
Honorable Karoli Omondi, you want to be informed?
No.
Your information rejected. Proceed, Honorable Omondi.
Thirdly, that particular authority should have power to intervene in case of national emergencies around food safety. And Honorable Speaker, it should also have what we call enforceability powers, which in terms of food safety should include enacting food safety regulations, creating labeling policy, food labeling policy, to provide adequate information on food, and thirdly, managing of what we call farm inputs, what my honorable sister from Suba North called traceability. And finally, because there's shortage of time, I'm just trying to put my thoughts on record so we can debate them later. We should separate, as the honorable member said, food regulation from feed regulation. They are completely different, even in terms of the qualifications of who needs to oversee them. And finally, Honorable Speaker, I think the proposed National Food Safety Authority should recognize traditional methods of food preservation as well as the modern ones. I've done it in a rush, simply because there's not much time, but as somebody with experience in creating an overarching institution in the environmental sector, I can assure the majority leader, this is not good work. It should be withdrawn and we start afresh and create a National Food Safety Authority. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Frederick Ikana.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to the motion. I want from the onset to put on record that I fully support the bill on food and feed safety coordination.